We've implemented everything that we needed for the requirements of version 2 of the RPS project tracker. All the functionality is there. However, the current theme that we're using, the Kendo UI default theme, which looks very nice, but it doesn't quite match our existing bootstrap look of our application. KendoReact comes with a few different themes out of the box, and we can also build our own theme. So in this chapter, we're going to look at some styling options, including themes, the ThemeBuilder, and icons. If we take a look at the components documentation, starting with buttons, for example, you'll see examples of buttons, and you can see examples of all these components on the documentation site. These are interactive. This theme that's currently being applied is the default theme. It has this orange glow. Here from the drop-down, you can select different themes to use for the documentation. For example, we can apply the Bootstrap theme, and all the components in the documentation are live updated to use that new theme. If we select Material theme, here are the material buttons, and so on. Right now, our own application is using the default theme, and though it's not bad looking, it doesn't match our Bootstrap theme. Since our existing app is using the Bootstrap theme, and Kendo UI happens to ship with a Bootstrap theme, this is a perfect opportunity for us to just apply that theme without doing any additional work. Let's see how that works. In the documentation, I'm going to go to Styles and Theming and Overview. This will give you an overview of the available themes, how to install them, and how to use the precompiled CSS, how to customize the themes, and so on. Let's look at the Bootstrap theme. We would install the Bootstrap theme using a separate npm package. That's add progress Kendo theme Bootstrap. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, terminate my process, and I'm going to install this just like I did any other components. Let's kick off the server again and go back to the code. Let's make sure our Bootstrap theme was installed, and indeed it was. So where do we apply this theme? Well, if we go up to our root app component, you can see that we're importing the Progress Kendo default theme right here. And this is as good a place as any to import the precompiled CSS for our Bootstrap theme as well. So instead of Kendo theme default here, I'm going to use Kendo theme Bootstrap. The path to the all.css is going to be exactly the same. All.css again means that all the components are defined in this file. I'm going to save that and let's take a look. And just by doing that, all our Kendo components inherit the Bootstrap theme now. You can see the buttons look like Bootstrap buttons, the tabs look like Bootstrap tabs, and everything matches now, including the dropdowns and inputs. So there's a seamless match now between the Kendo components and the Bootstrap components, making it very easy for you to integrate your Kendo UI components into your existing Bootstrap applications. If you're not using Bootstrap, but you want to try Material, there's another theme for that comes bundled. The idea is the same. You just install this package and import all the Material CSS. You can do this as an exercise just to give it a shot and try it out to see how it looks. But if you really must build your own custom theme to match your organization branding, for example, let's take a look at how we can do that next. So we've seen how our application looks with the default theme and with the Bootstrap theme. Now, if your organization has some other requirements for theming, if you have your own colors or styles, you might want to create your own theme. So back on the documentation site, there's this drop-down that I showed you to switch between themes and the previews for the components. One of the buttons down here is the ThemeBuilder. This is the ThemeBuilder. And here you can select the base theme where you want to start. Do you want to start with a default theme, a Bootstrap theme, or the Material theme? Let's say you want to create your styles based on the default theme. You can continue down here by clicking Create. And here you'll get a preview of all the different components that are available and how they would look with the current theme applied. Here you can apply your own brand colors. For example, let's say I used purple. If I apply purple as my primary color, all the components that use a primary color will get updated to purple. And there's many different options here, even for charts and grids. Once you're done configuring your styles, you can hit the download button here. This will go ahead and save an archive, which you can then extract. And in this archive, you're going to have the RPS folder, which is the name of your project, and that has the dist folder. You can either use the CSS directly, or you can use the SAS files if you want to work that into your build process. We're going to use the rps.css file directly. So let's copy that file, and we're going to open up our project folder and drop it in right into the root of the project. And now we need to configure this theme. In app.tsx, this is our root component. This is where we configured the Kendo theme bootstrap. Right now, we're pointing to add progress, Kendo theme bootstrap, dist all.css. Instead of that module, we're going to import the local CSS module. So we're going to point to rps.css. And this will rebuild, and let's take a look at our application. If I go to the details page, you can see that the tab strip also has purple colors here. Now, to really see a difference here, we can go to the dashboard page, and these buttons up here are currently just flat buttons. Let's make them a primary button so that we can really see that purple. I can go here and open up my modules, dashboard, dashboard page. Here are the buttons. I can set one of the buttons to primary. Go ahead and save that. And now we have a very purple button, and that matches that theme that we designed with the primary color and the primary button. So that's how you apply a custom theme. Kendo UI ships with a whole set of icons that you can use to add to your application. Instead of fumbling around with third-party libraries like Font Awesome or some other library, ICOMoon for example, you can just use the ones that come with Kendo right out of the box. If you go to the documentation, and then under styling and themes, you can click on icons, and you can see all the different icons available right here. And there's a lot of them. We can add icons to those components that support it as attributes, or we can add standalone icons. Let's see how we can do both. So for example, we have this add button on the backlog page. Let's say we wanted to add a plus symbol to that. We can go to the icons page, search for plus, and here we found several options for the plus icon. Just a plus, or a plus outline, or a plus with a circle. Here's our backlog page component, and here is our add button. This is currently not a Kendo button, so let's make it a Kendo button. Let's make sure that we've imported a Kendo button. I'm going to go up to the top and verify. And there's one more package we're going to need to reference for our icons themselves. This is Progress Kendo SVG icons. Now this one comes with a lot of different icons. As you've seen, the ones that are available. If you want to get a list of them, you just go into the brackets here and press Control Space, and you'll see all the different icons listed here. We're looking for one that says plus icon. Of course, you can type it out, but there it is. Plus circle, plus icon, plus outline icon. They're all in here. So let's select plus icon, and we're going to go back down to our button, and now specify SVG icon, plus icon. Let's save that and have a look. And there it is. If I changed my mind and I wanted to use the plus circle icon, well, that's easy to do. I can just say plus circle icon here. And of course, make sure that it does get imported. And let's have a look. And there's our plus circle icon. Let's head over to the details page. And let's say I wanted an icon here right before the title, just a standalone icon. Let's go back to our list of icons. And let's say I wanted an icon that has to do with editing. This one looks decent enough. Edit annotations. The first thing we need to do is install the Progress KendoReact common package. So as before, terminate your running process, run npm install add progress KendoReact common, and once that's installed, start up your server one more time. Now that we have that installed, let's find that details page. So that's going to be under pages, detail page. And right over here where we have the title of the item, right before that, I'm going to add an SVG icon. And notice that's coming from our new package, the Progress KendoReact common package. There it is. Since it's a standalone icon, it gets its own component. And of course, we need to specify the icon itself. And this is already familiar to you because we're going to grab an icon from our Progress SVG icons library. This one's called Edit Annotations icon. Let's copy that and paste it right here as the value for our icon property. Okay, let's take a look at what we have. There's our application, and we have our little edit icon right there, right before the title. If I delete the title here, there is no strange shift where the H1 is going to be gone because that icon maintains its space. So that means you'll know that something is missing here. There's my title next to the icon. So that's how easy it is to add icons inline or attach them to components. In this lesson, we're exploring Unstyled mode in KendoReact, a new option that gives you full visual control over components. Unstyled mode is essentially a headless version of the library. All the built-in behavior stays, things like validation, keyboard support, and ARIA attributes, But none of the default Kendo CSS is included. This unlocks 3 key benefits: total styling freedom, no conflicts with your own CSS, and smaller bundle sizes. To use it, just wrap supported components in an unstyled context provider with your own class name presets. Every internal element will then render using your styles instead of Kendo's. Unstyled mode currently supports a growing list of components like buttons, pickers, inputs, forms, and primitives such as SVG icons and the animation suite. Check the docs for the most up-to-date list. You can mix Unstyled mode with classic Kendo themes. It only applies within the provider. That means that you can selectively apply where it's needed, like a custom form or a landing page, for example. And third-party tools like Tailwind work perfectly here, since Kendo doesn't eject styles. There's even a sample repo with Tailwind presets ready to go. Just remember, you're in charge of visual accessibility. Kendo gives you the hooks, but things like focus rings and hover states are up to you. Unstyled mode offers the maximum flexibility with minimal overhead, and it's available right now.